Shout out to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. Impress your loved ones with your cooking skills over the holiday break. They deliver fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and step-by-step recipes right to your door to make all that cooking easy. Blue Apron's treating nobodies to your first 3 meals with your first order when you visit blueapron.com/theknow. Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley. It is Monday. It is the last week before the holiday break. Whew. Well, there's a lot of news to cover. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds finally launched on console last week, and apparently it's already making quite a dent in terms of sales. According to a new announcement on the Xbox Wire, PUBG's console debut moved more than 1 million copies in its first 48 hours. That's fast, and now they're going to be bundling it up with Xbox One X for a limited time. What a great way to enjoy all the game's frame rate hiccups with all that power and no frames to go with it. As for the technical issues, creator Brendan Green has acknowledged them in a new interview on Microsoft's official Mixer live stream. Green said on the stream, "It's a little rough, right? But we want to work over the next coming months with the community, with Microsoft, and really polish it off and make the game run as smooth as we can across all consoles." Eidos Montreal, developers of games like Deus Ex, RIP for now, although apparently they might bring it back, and Thief, oh yeah, also RIP for now, who knows, maybe they'll bring it back. Or not. Are they giving up on single-player games? That was the worry after some new quotes from studio boss David Fossey. He wrote on the company's webpage, "At Eidos Montreal, we are constantly working towards creating innovative and exciting experiences for gamers everywhere. In turn, we are placing an added emphasis on the online experiences in our games, striving to continually provide players with content that is memorable and impactful. Through the inherent interactivity of online play, our universes will have the chance to thrive both now and into the future." So that sounds like a fairly definitive, but after a bit of fan response to that quote, as you can imagine, because there are a lot of single-player franchises that people feel very strongly about, and Fossey has since clarified on Twitter that this doesn't mean they're moving away from single-player games at all. In fact, fans should stay tuned for more exciting news from them soon. They're just not focusing on it. They're not moving away. They just don't want it to be their thing. In addition to knowing that Obsidian's next RPG is coming sometime in 2019, thanks to last week's announcement, we now know one more thing about the game. It's not going to have microtransactions. Following the announcement that Obsidian would be publishing the game with Take-Two's indie-focused private division, some fans worried that meant the game would include microtransactions, since Take-Two said a few months back that they would be in every game they publish going forward. However, Obsidian says that's not the case with their private division deal. They wrote on their forums, "The answer is simply no. No microtransactions of any kind in our game. We also wanted to say a word about our partnership with Private Division, our publisher on this title. Far from pushing us to put anything, microtransactions or otherwise, into our game, Private Division has been incredibly supportive of our vision, our creative freedom, and the process by which we work to make RPGs." So that's good news. If anything good comes out of this whole microtransaction loot box fiasco that's been happening over the past several weeks and months, it's that more developers will take a stand and say, "We're not doing it." And then gamers will say, "That sounds great, I'm gonna get that game." And then we get this nice healthy ecosystem that thrives. Fingers crossed. Happy birthday, Final Fantasy! Today officially marks the series' 30th anniversary. That's crazy. Final Fantasy I released on December 18th in Japan all the way back in 1987 and brought a new kind of video game to home consoles. It's a franchise that's probably older than a lot of people. Well, I mean, statistically, that's definitely the case, but I mean people who play Final Fantasy now. Anyway, since then we've had more than 30 releases when you include all the sequels and the spin-offs, with a huge library of characters and grand stories. No matter what you think about the quality of the games themselves, really hard to deny the impact it's had on video games as a whole. So, hey, yeah, drink some champagne or something. Or, hey, there was that Final Fantasy wine, drink that. Hey, you've earned it. Also, Final Fantasy's earned it. We should all just have a drink. Is Counter-Strike Go looking at being the next Battle Royale and clone? Maybe. That's the speculation around the internet, thanks to a new video from YouTube channel Valve News Network. VNN covered many of CSGO's recent patches, which seem to be adding Battle Royale-esque assets to the game dating all the way back to May 2016. Some of these assets include the mention of a survival game type and items like parachutes, drones, adrenaline shots, an unannounced island map, supply crates. they start to draw a picture. Of course, people have found hidden secrets in Valve games for several years that have turned out to be nothing at all, but the idea of a company like Valve using a tried and true game like Counter-Strike as the basis for a Battle Royale mode would certainly be interesting. But again, if it all happens in Valve time, it might not be real at all, or it might come in like 2025 when no one's playing Battle Royale anymore. Now, a lot of people thought that we'd be getting an announcement from Team Ninja over the weekend about a new Dead or Alive game because they had this crazy announcement planned, but turns out that the series is more dead than alive for now. Team Ninja developers said in a Twitch live stream yesterday that they are moving on from the Dead or Alive franchise and will take some time to look into the future as to what they'll make next. And the devs said they're officially ending support for Dead or Alive 5, which came out in 2015. So you can imagine all the Dead or Alive fans very excited about the new announcements they were teasing. As for what's next, well, they didn't really seem sure and added that you might not hear from them for some time. So, thanks for the extremely disappointing announcement, Team Ninja. I mean, I'll be very curious to see what you come up with in pushing the realm of boob physics forward, but announcing the announcement and hyping it all up and then being like, nah, that's just rubbing it in. Are we getting a remaster of the puzzle game Kdin? Maybe a sequel? No one's sure yet, but rumor has it there's an announcement that could be coming very soon about the franchise. Gematsu quoted the leaker Ryokutia 2089, who said that Atlas might be working on something that's either a remaster or a full new game, and it could be announced by the end of this year. There's not a lot of year left, so it'll be pretty soon. If you've never played Kdin, it is a puzzle platformer that released for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 back in 2011. It's actually backwards compatible, so you can play it on Xbox One if you got one. You play as Vincent Brooks, who's having these nightmares about his girlfriend, Catherine with a K, and then starts having an affair with another woman who's also named Catherine with a C. It was developed by the same team that made the Persona series, and it's weird as heck, so it'll be very interesting to see if they're involved in whatever this is too. Either way, Kdin, totally underrated, not enough people played it. If you like super weird stuff, it's good. The Last Jedi had a big weekend at the box office, like real big. It raked in $220 million in North America, which is behind only its older brother, The Force Awakens, which made more than $247 million. Still though, that's a huge, very impressive total, and worldwide it made $450 million in its opening weekend. So this makes Star Wars the first movie franchise in history to see two installments make more than $200 million in their opening weekend, which is really impressive. While there have been a few who didn't care for The Last Jedi, yes, we hear you all over the internet. Overall, reviews have been pretty good. It got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, 86 on Metacritic. It is one of those franchises that people will go see multiple times in an opening weekend, so you can kind of see why it would earn that much, but that's still really, really huge. I mean, The Force Awakens was an event. It was a huge deal, and so for Last Jedi to even come close to that is pretty spectacular. Now, hold off on the Avengers X-Men team up. Just put a little kibosh on the shipping for now. Not everyone is a fan of the Disney-Fox merger because of things like monopolies, but come on, our X-Men. Variety reports that some Democratic senators are concerned about possible antitrust violations with the merger. Senator Amy Klobuchar called the proposed deal another industry-changing merger which would have major implications in television, film, and media. And she's asked the chairs of the Senate Antitrust and Judiciary Committees to schedule a hearing on the matter. This all stems from the announcement last week that Disney is planning to buy most of 21st Century Fox's assets for a reported $52.4 billion. The process is expected to take around 12 to 18 months, but word is that the Justice Department is expected to approve it, and importantly, it doesn't need congressional approval to do so. So we'll see how that all ends up shaking out. Gonna be a while potentially before you see X-Men and MCU. I don't know that we're gonna see Storm popping up in Black Panther, but keep the hope alive. If you know that's a bigger deal to you than monopolies. And Uber, speaking of monopolies, been accused of some shady business practices, and they are extensive, like bribing and spying on foreign officials, which is kind of a big deal. Stealing trade secrets, conducting surveillance of executives from rival companies. I mean, Well, is this a ride-sharing company or like a James Bond villain? The accusations are detailed in a letter from Richard Jacobs, a former security analyst for Uber, so that's quite interesting, and it's all part of a lawsuit against Uber by Waymo, the self-driving car unit that's suing Uber for stealing trade secrets. Jury selection in the case is scheduled to start January 31st, so we thought that 2017 was kind of a crazy year for lawsuits and shenanigans in the courtroom, but 2018 should be pretty wild to say the least. Alright, that's the news for this roundup. To make sure you get all the news from every corner of the internet, like this video, let us know what you think of these stories in the comments. If you're new here, subscribe to the know. We will continue newsing all week until we take a break for the holidays. Thanks to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. It's almost here, the holiday break. That means spending time with friends and family, which usually also means food. You can impress everyone with your cooking skills, whether you think you have them or not, by whipping up a beef ragu and whole grain pasta, or roasted chicken and maple butter with sweet potato, or tilapia and black lentil salad. Those are just a few things on the menu right now, and they sound, well, some of them might sound a little bit intimidating, but they're not. Blue Apron delivers fresh, pre-proportioned, non-GMO ingredients and step-by-step instructions to make the meal in 45 minutes or less, so even if you don't make a habit of cooking a lot of times, you don't need to worry about it. It's actually pretty awesome to make something you didn't think you could do, and they taste delicious. Blue Apron offers 12 new recipes every week, and you can choose how frequently you want to receive new recipes based on your schedule, and there's always a new culinary adventure to go on. Get your first 3 meals on the house with your first order. That's worth $30. It's kind of tough to argue with free food, right? To try it out, just visit blueapron.com/theknow.